asked him, well, that would be crazy if someone were writing those kinds of things on a blog and just left that hanging with the jury. It would be crazy, wouldn't it? Because, of course, insanity is the defense as to this attempted murder count. Frank, let me come over to you, because later we're going to talk about whether or not there's any impact from Judge Weller's reputation as a judge in divorce and family court. But here I'm asking you about the relevance of his testimony in this case. Kind of hard to separate those out, but what do you think the impact of his testimony was, if any?
Well, whenever you have a judge testifying, and I have to say in 23 years of doing this, I've never had the ability to cross-examine a judge, a sitting judge. It's a strange dynamic to have a judge admonishing another judge for his behavior on the stand, and when you see a judge get rattled and feel the need to defend himself as this judge did, there's some significance to it, although I don't know this judge, I don't really know his reputation, but the man did get shot in the chest for no good reason, so this is going to be a difficult road for this defendant.
Yeah, and I talk all the time between them. We'll get to that in just a minute, but Frank, let me come over to you. Frank Rothman here with me in New York. Before I asked you about the judge as a witness in this case, what about the judge's reputation? Which, you know, look, family court judges are never popular, so I am loath to criticize the judge, but is it relevant as to this defendant's state of mind when the jury determines whether or not he's guilty or perhaps not guilty by reason of insanity?
The only way that's going to be relevant is through the testimony of an expert, a psychiatrist, who's going to talk about this judge's demeanor and how that juxtaposed with this defendant's frame of mind. Jurors hearing that this particular judge wasn't popular, ran his courtroom a certain way, I don't think that's going to matter. I think the only relevance will be how his demeanor, how his attitude, his treatment of this defendant during the divorce proceedings, how that interplays with someone whose mental state is an issue.
So it's a piece in the puzzle, and the defense then has a burden, which normally we don't have, but they have a burden to tie it into this defendant's psychology, unique psychology.
Absolutely. You know, the fact that a guy is unpopular, as you've said, we all run into judges who we like, don't like. You know, but to go the extra mile and to premeditate and plan out his execution, you better have some damn compelling evidence that this judge was so over the top, coupled with this defendant's questionable mental state, that created this situation where he basically couldn't help himself, didn't realize right from wrong, didn't know what he was doing, you know, the typical mental health standards.
Yeah, and Frank, let me jump over to Jean Casarez on this issue, because this insanity defense, as we call it, is